Aaron, it's good to meet you, man. Appreciate
You as
you
well. Nice to
appreciate you
meet you.
doing this today.
Thanks for
Um,
having
we're super excited for you. It's album release week. Single Wide Dream is out
me.
this
Yeah, I'm excited. It's like, holy moly, it actually happened. So
week. How you
I've
feeling
always,
about it on
yeah, I'm
release
excited,
week?
man. I've always been that like one to just wait until I'm holding the actual thing, before, someone say, hey, so and so is going to sing your song, but I wait until I hear the song,
Yeah,
until before I get excited about it. So I feel like I'm finally getting excited.
yeah,
It's been in the works for a while, but I've got a whole box of them sitting right here in front of me. So I know for a fact that they exist.
yeah. Exciting
Um,
times. Well, we've been loving the music that's been released so far from the album, the four tracks you've released. Tell us about what you wanted to sort of achieve with this project and what you wanted to sort of say with this collection of songs.
I think it just started off as we just needed something to have I just need something to have at like a songwriter festival or like the Blueberry Cafe, and Anderson East is my best friend and I've known him for 20 years probably. And forever, he's gonna say, yeah, man, I'll make you something. We'll get something together, but he's busy producing big time records and engineering on stuff. And I mean, that guy's big time. So he, we've, it all kind of came together. And we put it all together. And I think when it, like my mission was not to make a record. The record kind of just made itself. And then we started getting the songs together and everything, I think it's turned into this thing where it started off as like, I need something on the shelf. And now let's help people. Let's just help people. I'm going for the whole like help people thing. Cause I'm like all these characters and all these songs, there's something in there that somebody can relate to that'll hopefully lighten the load on whatever they're dealing with, like, hey, at least we didn't have any kids. That was terrible. That was great. Or, you know, dear darling, why don't you just be nice to me? I love you. And I think it's a lot of that sentiment. So, I mean, yeah, my overall goal just to get something out that represents me and that Anderson's proud of because he had, a lot to do with it. And then to just not fuck people up. I think people put out a lot of music that just fucks people up. It makes them sad. It makes them cry. And a lot of people love to listen to sad music, but I don't know. When I go out on a Friday or turn on the radio or buy a record, it's generally not to feel bad.
Yeah.
So I think laughing, all that stuff. I mean, I really like go for the humor in life. I think because for the most part, it's just a bunch of bullshit you got to deal with every day. And I mean, from start to finish, it's the same bullshit. And if we can just look at it in some different way, like, all right, it's breakfast again. It's breakfast again. Here we are again.
And
Yeah.
you've mentioned elsewhere that like the songwriting process for this album was quite organic, and it's basically just a bunch of friends in a room, really.
Yeah.
So were you sort of intending to write for yourself and intending to put an album together, or was it just a case of best song
Well,
wins?
Well, the writing process was more or less like I've just been collecting songs for years. It was like the recording process that was more like a group of people kind of just got together and threw it together. Um, Definitely, I mean, if best song wins is I write so many songs for other people that 90% of the great songs I write, I'm just going to hand off to somebody who's got more business singing than I do because I'm not a singer. I just talk too much and I'm not really a guitar player. I just kind of plink around on one, because I mean, when you're in Nashville, there's serious guitar players and serious singers and everybody kind of knows what they're good at. And I think what I'm good at is I play the ink pen and I put words in order. And then I'm not really stuck in a certain genre. I write with different genres for different assignments. But this was really like a chance to just have something out there that just is a hair of a taste of like my personality rather than like Lady Gaga's personality.
Yeah, well, that's such a humble way to look at it. Were you always sort of hoping to record something in your own right, or is it something that's just happened
Well,
organically?
yeah, it just happened really. Like I mean, I've always been. I'll record a demo of every song I make. At least just sing it into the phone or something. But I've never been too particular about where it goes musically. And I think Anderson he just took the reins and started making a real record, and then it just got really real all of a sudden, because a lot of the people that are featured as guests on the record are just people that I was writing with at the time. So like, I've been writing a bunch of songs with Bob Weir, which is just really weird anyway. I mean, I sound like I'm nuts even saying that, but he just was hanging out one day and we were working on his stuff. And then, Anderson played a little bit of my stuff and he just took a swing at it, and that was it. It wasn't like we had a big studio setup or anything. It was just like in this office, in a small office with just a little Pro Tools setup that everybody has at home, just the same old stuff. And same with Robert Randolph. He just thought I was writing with him on his record, and he sat down. He did it one take. I think he stopped by my office for 20 minutes and then put a solo on for the Birds. That solo. He's just like, "All right, is that good?" Like, "Yeah, man, thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll keep working on your stuff." And so and then it kept sitting there. It sat there for another year. And people would come by and say, "Oh, well, I heard so-and-so sang on this record. So, hey, man, why don't you let me sing on the record too?" And I'm like, "Are you serious? Okay, come on in here, And I mean, I met Foy Vance as he was singing on the record, because Anderson called me and it's like, "Hey, man, you need to come down here and meet Foy. He's singing on your record." And I was like, "Holy shit." Like, and now we're great friends, and I've written a bunch of songs with Foy, but that's how I met him. Was I came down and he was sitting there singing on a song that he'd never even heard that written by somebody he'd never even met, and that's just wild. Some of that stuff just happening. And Bob's been singing a song. It's called "She Knows What I'm Thinking." He's been singing it out with his band in the Bob Weir and Wolf Brothers sets, right before all these classic, in between all these Grateful Dead songs, it's like, you can't make that shit up. It's like, I have no idea. And I mean, you see me, I'm not particularly good looking or anything. I have no idea, man. I've just been sitting in Nashville for 17 years. And I think finally, somebody just knocked on my door, and that's about it. It was total 100%. I say luck, I mean, I know people that have been sitting down here as long as me that are better, that I think are better songwriters, and are having less luck because, art is a motherfucker of a thing to chase. It's like, if my kid said I'm going to be an artist or a musician or something, which I don't have any kids, but if they did say that, I would probably try to discourage them.
Really? Why?
I think so. I think it's just like an eternal mental, financial, just a bunch of fuckery. You know what I mean? Like art and music and writing. And I mean, it's like, it's a challenge. Like you have to be, and I always say this too, like when I got to Nashville, I was sleeping in my van and I was happy with it. So like, as soon as I was concerned about what's happening here or what's happening there, I just like try to remind myself like, hey, we didn't get into this for the money. The reason you're in it is because you have to, more than likely, that's why you write too, because you just write anyway. Like, it's like, well, I guess I'm a writer. I'm interested in other shit, but oh look, there I just wrote something else again, and they're like, well, kid's a writer, you can't stop it. So I mean, and I'd say I would discourage somebody. I don't know if I would. My folks have been like total, like I said, my mom's a nurse, but or I don't know if I said that. She's a nurse, and she's always told me just help people, whatever you're doing. She didn't care what I was doing, just help people. So yeah, I like to think this is a little swing at trying to help the world with some stuff.
The healing process as well.
Yeah, and also just getting stuff out of my head, as a writer, yourself, once you finish that article, you can finally quit thinking about it and move on to something else.
Totally relate to that.
Yeah, it's like you push something out and you're like, okay, thank God, next one. And I think this record's been banging around for years now, so it's going to be just like a real relief to have it available.
Yeah, well, one of the songs that has been around for a few years, you mentioned it there, For the Birds, which obviously Miranda recorded for the Weight of These Wings album. Yeah. Tell us about the sort of journey that song's been on and why you felt you had to record that one, because it has been around for a while.
Yeah, that song, it's probably one of the more favorite songs I ever wrote, only because I don't know. I just talked to another guy, so I am repeating myself a little bit. I'm just making sure I'm not repeating myself to you. But we used to, my buddy John Decius, he's like my favorite co-writer. We were he has his alarm set to 6 a.m. permanently. It goes off on Sundays, and my house had just burned down, and I was living in his single wide trailer as a favor. So it's his place. So I can't tell him to turn his alarm off, you know. So we're waking up at 6 because I'm waking up at 6 no matter what. So I would wake up kind of pissed off, and you know, he'd talk, and he's he's probably the best songwriter I know. And he writes, he's prolific. Like he wakes up and he starts writing. And so it was almost like a quiet contest, like you do with kids. You're like, all right, everybody, quiet contest. I was like, listen, man, I'm gonna need 30 minutes to just sit here and wake up without you just bothering me. You know, he's my best friend, so I can just say that, you know. And he's like, all right, so we start writing songs in 30 minutes and setting a timer. And it's like a writing exercise that we created. And I looked out the deal is you set the timer and you write about whatever's in front of you. And I was in this. I was just getting bird feeders for some reason or another. I had like 16 bird feeders hanging all out through the front yard, and I just sit there and like smoke weed and look out the window and watch birds, you know. And it was like 7:30 in the morning, and I smoked some weed and was looking out the window, and I thought, hey, I'm on their team. I'm for the birds, you know, like, hey, guys, because there were birds everywhere, and I was like, all right, I started writing about birds and crazies and weirdos and all that. And that song, like I'd say 80% of it came out in that 30 right there.
Isn't that where the best songs come from, though?
Yeah,
like the magic of songwriting.
Yeah, and then I happened to have a write with Miranda the next week, and she asked me what I've been working on, and I just kind of read it to her, and she's like, I love that. Let's, you know, and she threw in, I think 4 or 5 more lines. She had a tweedle deedle dee dee and some of that stuff, the little hooks, and then she cut it, and then she recorded it. But I wound up singing it out. Like I just kept singing. At first people would say, sing your Miranda song, you know, we be a writer's night or something. And then it felt like it turned more, it was my song, you know, like some songs are yours. And as a co-writer, like I can definitely say there's some songs that there were 4 writers and I was writer number 4. Cause I really, you know, you were there. Maybe you helped get everybody together, and then you didn't really say a whole lot of stuff. So you're still on that song, but that's not necessarily your song, you know?
Yeah. Well, can I ask you about a song that might not have necessarily been about you, which was on Maren Morris's latest record?
Yeah, no, I'm only 5'11", so that's not about me. Tall guys. I saw she just put something, hoping she'll put that out as a single. That'd be amazing. But that's another song that was kind of an accident too. I didn't even know if that was a great idea. That was Natalie's idea, and she's like, let's write about tall guys. And I thought, oh man, here's our chance to write something great, and we're gonna do that. And then you know, yeah. I turned that song into I write for Dave Cobb, and I turned it and I said, we wrote this song called Tall Guys, and he just said, I hate it. I said, why? He said, I'm short. He just walked off. And I didn't really know what to think of it either, because the demo was a lot different than the actual recording, but her producer Greg Kirsten is just fantastic, and I mean that recording is incredible. So I don't know. And her boyfriend is tall. That song's about Ryan. It's about Ryan Hurd.
It certainly is.
He's tall. A friend of mine, she told me, she said all women like tall guys. And I was like, really? Is it true? And I don't know, but maybe that's true. I mean, I haven't asked around maybe there's something. There's probably some ladies that are like really into short guy stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe we need to write short guys just to fill it all out.
You can put it on a future album.
Yeah, that was another surreal experience, really, hanging out with her. I mean, all these people are just normal, you know, I'm plain old people, you know, and most of them have to sing the same song every night, you know, and it's like, it really makes you just respect all these people out there, you know, doing the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Aaron, just before I let you go, what's the plan in terms of doing any live shows to promote the album? Are you planning to go out and do some stuff?
We're working on a calendar full. I think I'm playing on the Grand Ole Opry on Friday. Awesome. And then I'm doing like a visual art show at the same time. So I've got all these paintings over in East Nashville hanging up. We just dropped off 125 paintings. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then hopefully we'll just line the calendar up and get out and harass the world with all these songs.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and get over to Europe. I've still never been. I'm getting ready to turn 40, and my grandmother's from Paris, and you'd think I would have made that trip by now.
Oh, we got to get you over to the UK, man. They'd love you over here.
I'm looking forward to it. I love to hang out with you sometime.
Absolutely, man. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate your time, man. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hopefully see you in person at some point.
Thanks for your time. Yeah, don't tear me up too bad.
Oh, I dare you, Rory.
All right.
Cheers, Aaron.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, have a good day.